Hi everyone, this is Miss Branham and I'm going to be leading your lesson today. If you are on the A-Day schedule, this is your lesson for September the 16th. If you're on the B schedule, then it's your lesson for September 17th. But today we're going to be talking about the rise of agriculture. You've seen how early humans kind of worked the land or lived. You saw them as hunters and gatherers. You've read some things about them being herders and kind of working with animals. But really, we're going to see what happens once agriculture takes over. So the thing is, hunting and gathering isn't working out anymore. As you saw in previous lessons, hunter and gatherer groups had to get everything from the land, and sometimes they would use it all up. They would use up all of the different types of crops and plants in an area, and they wouldn't have them anymore. Animals were becoming scarce because they were being overhunted, and hunting was really dangerous. People were dying during these hunting missions. In order to get food, they would get hurt by the animals or just get hurt in general, and so people were dying from that as well. So they were trying to figure out a different way to live in order to best survive. And what a lot of people started to notice is that if they planted seeds that they found from the plants that were already around and watched them grow, and they learned how to do this, and they could control the crops that they had. And they also realized that if they worked with animals and trained them, or this is known as domestication, training the wild animal, then they could raise them for whatever needs they had for those animals. So if they needed them for meat, they had them. If they needed them for milk and other products like that, they were there. Or if they needed some animals in order to help them make their lives easier and pull different equipment or carry heavy loads or use it for different tools, then there was an animal that was trained to do that instead of trying to do it all by themselves. The growing of crops and domestication of animals is called agriculture. Agriculture is what really changes everything. It's going to provide stability and is actually one of the most important advancements in history because it changes the way of life for humans completely. One of the biggest ways that this happens is through the development of villages. As people started to become farmers and as tools improved, this goes hand in hand. They made better tools so they could farm better. They were farming, so they needed better tools. And instead of moving around, they figured out they could stay in one place and grow the foods that they needed and raise the animals they needed to eat. This all leads to permanent shelters. They didn't need the houses that they could easily break down. They needed some kind of house that would be a protector from the weather, from wild animals, all sorts of things. So if they were going to stay in one place, they needed to make it permanent. This creation of permanent houses led to villages because more people would move together in these areas to do the same things. This is going to be the biggest, not the biggest, but one of the biggest changes and one of the first great changes that agriculture brings to people is by making villages. So where did these villages appear? These settlements, again, are going to appear in different parts all across the world, but they have a couple things in common. One is that they are by a river and in a river valley area. And the second is that it is by and near fertile land. This is very important. These two things are necessary for these first settlements to survive, and is actually two of the main aspects for all first civilizations. Fertile land is needed to grow crops. Yes, you can grow it in not fertile land, but the better the land is, the better the crops are going to be. And the people needed to be by water. Water allows people to have drinking water. They could bathe. They have water for their crops and for their animals. They have access to fish. And then it also is a whole lot easier for travel. You could get in the river, create some kind of raft or a boat, and probably travel downriver a lot faster than you would by foot. And also the soil along rivers and in these river valleys is going to be extremely rich and fertile. So the fertile soil and the river valleys go hand in hand. This, again, is very important. All of our first major civilizations have these things in common. They are by a river with fertile land. Again, river, fertile land. Very, very, very important. When you look at this map, and I know some of us have some practice with working with maps, some of us still need a little more practice, but that's why we're doing this. When you look at a map, you have a key, and this key is saying that the line that goes like this is going to be our river. Areas with these little, I guess they're trees, are going to represent a forest. You have areas with mountains, and you have areas with fertile land. When we look at this map, this area in the red circle is going to be the best place for these first groups to settle. They have the fertile land, they have the river access they need. So when you think about an area settling, this is what they need. So we also see, like we said a second ago, the emergence of permanent shelters. People are creating homes that are more solid. It's going to be made of mud or stone. Some of these areas are going to actually have multiple rooms, like the one in the picture right here, for multiple families to possibly live in. Some of them are single family dwellings in just one room, but again, it's more permanent. It's going to give them protection, make life a little more comfortable for people, and it also led to more people living near each other because you're going to have more people working together. And like I said, farming allowed people to form larger communities. As people begin to settle, they're going to settle together. Farms are going to kind of be near each other. That way that people can kind of work together to make things as best as possible. This is also going to have the emergence of other jobs. So you're going to have some people that are farming and you're going to divide up the work, and there's going to be other people doing other things. So you're going to still have some people who are hunting. You're going to have people who specialize in making weapons. You're going to have people who specialize in making pottery or in clothing. You have your people who are going to watch children. All of these different things are going to start to really appear as these communities get bigger. The more people available, the easier it is to split up the work. And I said the word specialize a lot in that little segment, but just so you know, specialize means to focus on becoming skillful at one task. So someone would focus on being a bread maker. I'm just using that as an example, but someone would work on becoming the best bread maker that they could be, while someone else is going to become a basket maker. That way, both people don't have to worry about doing both jobs. You're going to pick one skill and one task and become really good at doing that. And by doing this, more things could be made and more needs could be met. So as more things are being made, more tools are being made, which also means more jobs are being made, and people got better at their work. Things were becoming more developed. Life was becoming not necessarily super easy, but a lot easier than what they were having to do by themselves. Better homes are going to be built, better crops are going to be grown, and all of this is going to allow resources to be shared. So you're going to actually have a major increase in food because there's going to be more being made, more being grown, and it's going to be better, so it's going to last longer. So this increase in food is also going to allow more people to live in these communities and more resources to support everybody. Because of this as well, more people are being born. More people are going to be in areas. There's a greater life expectancy. You have more resources. So more children can be born and actually survive into adulthood. And it just had the population grow everywhere. We also see at this time kind of more of an increase in jobs based on gender. So this is when we kind of see this division of labor being more gender-based. So we see more women who are doing jobs and things at home or in the homes. Children are being more taken care of by the women, where men are still doing more of the big labor jobs. This wasn't 100% set this way, but yes, this is when we kind of see that emergence of this development of jobs based on gender. So this is the end of the lesson for today. Your next step would be to do the Admentum work. It's slides 20 through 31, the rise of agriculture. You're going to complete assignment number 4, The Rise of Agriculture. This is a formative. It is on Google Classroom. And as always, you will have access to these Google Slides if you need to go back and look at them or if you need to rewatch the video. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out to your teachers. We are here to help, and we'll try to help as best as we can. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.